Welcome to CFO Fireside Chat, Expense Management Priorities and Predictions for 2022, brought to you by the Controllers Council. My name is Neil Brown, Executive Director of the Controllers Council. And before we get started, a couple of housekeeping items. After the roundtable, if you have questions for our panelists, please submit questions via the GoToWebinar control panel. We will follow up post-webcast via email. Now, in answer to a frequent question, you will receive a link to this webcast via email in the next 24 hours, so no need for notes. Before I turn the presentation over to our panelists, allow me to say some background, or share some background on our webinar sponsor. TripActions is fast becoming the default for corporate travel and spend management as the leading cloud-based T&E platform that combines industry-leading technology with best-in-class travel agency service. Trusted by travel managers and finance teams alike at more than 5,000 companies globally. Visit tripactions.com. With that, I'll turn it over to our panelists, Ram Bartov, EVP Finance, TripActions, and Joe Giselson, Group CFO of Relayer. Gentlemen.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Before we get started, I'd love to share a little bit about TripActions. TripActions is an all-in-one travel, corporate card, and expense management solution. We started in 2015 with a vision to power in-person connections that move people, ideas, and businesses forward. That means building our user-first OBT and TMC. TMC is a travel management company solution to deliver efficient and exceptional travel experience. We deliver a consumer-grade experience propelled us where we are today, with over 5,000 customers, including companies like Zoom, Wayfair, Lyft, Heineken, Netflix, and others. The more we spoke with travel customers, the more we heard that their pains with an area closely tied to travel payments. So we mapped all the steps of the journey for a traveler, from booking a trip all the way to filing the dreaded expense report and getting paid back weeks or months down the line. TripActions was born to simplify the process and eliminate all the pains associated with it. Whether the user is the employee submitting expense reports, the manager reviewing the expense report, or the finance team in the back end approving and reconciling the expense. We want to provide the best possible experience for everyone. So what we'll cover today, today we'll share the research that explores the challenges and priorities for expense management. We'll also talk about best practices from myself and Joe on how SMEs can drive spend visibility and control with integrated T&E solutions. So we'll jump to the first question, and then we'll open it to a conversation. So last year, we opened a short survey to subject matter experts in finance, which are finance leaders, and collected nearly 500 responses. Most of the companies were SMBs. 86% of responses came from companies in the US with less than 1,000 employees, and 60% of the respondents have less than 100 employees. Majorities of the participants had leadership roles. 60% were director and above, and 40% of them were VPs and above. Majority of the roles were in finance, so over 60% of the respondents were from finance, 14% in accounting, and the rest CEOs and other operational functions. In the survey, we asked 5 questions about challenges and expense management priorities. The first question was, what is your number one challenge to overcome regarding expense management? And the answers that we got here, most finance leaders struggle with spend control, business process efficiency, and spend visibility, which make it difficult to budget, manage, and forecast spend. Insufficient processes increase delays in expense report submission and time wasted on month-end close activities for accounting teams. So if you look at the results of the graph up here, the top 2-3 priorities are controlling budgets and ongoing expenses, reducing process inefficiencies, and improving visibility of sprint across the company. And Joel, here's where I'll open it to you. What challenges have you seen in your role as CFO of Relier?
Thank you, Ram. Yeah, I think for us as a global company, what we lacked was a consolidated tool for travel and expenses, a tool that combines the two. So not only the bookings, but also the expense side. The biggest challenge for us was actually visibility, not only about how much money we're spending from our travel budget, which before COVID was somewhere between $1.5 to $2 million on an annual basis, but also how many reports were not filed. We were constantly surprised by the amount of reports and by the amount themselves, the huge expense amounts that were filed late. So to solve that, we looked for a system that not only combines traveling expenses, but also a tool that provides us the real-time visibility that we needed. And real-time visibility combined with the user delight, I think that's key in order to visibility. While visibility is important, if the users don't embrace it, you don't get adoption. If you don't get adoption, the visibility doesn't really help you if the users are not using the system. So with Trip Actions, we're able to achieve over 95% visibility and eliminated probably over 99% of the use of personal cards in the company. It was possible with the adoption of Trip Actions liquid credit cards. Now the improved visibility, what we gained with that, and as we can see here on the screen, it's the number 2 challenge, I would say, right below controlling budgets and expenses. But with improved visibility, first, you can trust the numbers, you can plan better ahead. It allows you to really focus on what's important and spend the travel where it matters most. It allows you to approach the management team in case of policy violations in time when it really happens, and not 3-6 months after the fact when nobody cares about it. And bottom line, the data transparency allowed us to direct finance resources towards strategic growth initiatives and not managing expense reports all day long. I hope.